Good morning, guys. Hope everyone is doing well. Today I am in a friend's beautiful garden. They have a really amazing home and property, and their garden is another level beauty. And I wanted to show you a little bit and share with you what I've learned about composition, which is essentially, as a photographer for 20 plus years, everything. So if you know how to work a camera but you can't compose a shot, guess what? It really doesn't matter, because you may get a tack sharp, well exposed shot, but you're not going to have a composition that's interesting visually, and that's what it's all about. So being able to really separate yourself compositionally is a big part of drone work and a big part of videography and photography and art and painting and anything creative visually. So I'm going to share with you how I learned photography, which is essentially with nature and flowers and macro work. And I want to give you some of my suggestions that were given to me by other creatives, like my tattoo artist friends and painter friends and all kinds of different people that I really respect and admire visually and creatively. So I'm going to go ahead and show you a couple things that I would keep in mind while, say, photographing nature. And it's going to be the same kind of thing you're going to be looking for when you're in the air with your drone. Things that you're going to look for when you're in the air that are interesting, may stand out a little bit. Maybe there's some good repetition. Maybe there's a good shot that may look good if you're focusing the camera straight down with the gimbal facing down. So let's go ahead and get going. It's basically looking at the scene in its entirety. And even if you're with the drone, you're going to be scanning around with your gimbal, yawing the drone, moving around, seeing what's over here. We got telephone wires, we got a fire station, we got traffic. That's not really that interesting. And we're going to turn and yaw the drone, for example. And now we start to get nature, beauty, flowers, blue sky, you know, all kinds of cool stuff visually. And you just kind of hone in on what you feel is the prettiest and the most vibrant, for example. So pay attention to light, pay attention to all this kind of good stuff. So I'm going to share with you via my iPhone camera kind of what I would do seeing a scene like this. Say we got an abundance of beauty and nature and flowers. I can walk over here. Whew, is it hot? I can walk over here and get a sunflower. This is going to be not the best angle or camera because I got a lens that's showing these wires up here. So that ugly, that ugly. I'm going to change lenses. I got an iPhone 12 Pro Max right now. I'll zoom in a little bit more. And maybe I can isolate and not get the lines. But what I would want to do is switch to my 2.5 lens and then do something like that and work around and isolate the beauty and get rid of stuff like those ugly power lines and telephone lines and cables. And that's part of composition. So the same thing applies when you're in the air with your drone. You want to isolate the beauty always. And if we're going to walk over here, we got, you know, cone flowers that are kind of on their way out. They're not looking so great. Maybe they can be cool background with something like this little flower here. So something like that possibly. But as I said, if you're seeing a scene, you just kind of hone in on what looks coolest. And if we're walking over here, I see a bunch of stuff, and you know, this is kind of not looking in its prime. We have some zinnia flowers over here, which are really beautiful. But if we can see, I'm going to zoom in a little bit. This guy is kind of past its peak and not really looking that great. We have these guys over here, which are kind of losing their color and faded. There's a little skipper butterfly on there, which is cool, so I was taking notice of that. He left. And then we have this zinnia flower here, which to me is the hero. And there we go. We got the skipper landing on the most beautiful part. So there we go. We got the skipper landing right on the prettiest flower. And there we go. We got, you know, that stuff happening, and magic is just part of the game. So sometimes planets align and patience comes into play. But again, doing your visual push-ups every day, whether in the air or on the ground, is a huge thing. So really pay attention to compositional skills, because even if you can get a great exposed tack sharp image, it doesn't really matter if you have a crappy composition. So there we go. But again, this is just an example, and then work this flower, like work all kinds of different angles, see how it looks really low, see how it looks straight down, maybe like we're flying and we have the gimbal straight down, for example. It's so hot, I feel like I'm gonna pass out. So I'm gonna keep this kind of short, but again, the key to this is just knowing that you can practice your composition and being very mindful of being good with your composition visual skills when on the ground and when in the air, because essentially it's the same thing, just different. But you really want to sit with an object and work it. And maybe sit with this flower for literally, maybe not today because you'll probably pass out with heat stroke, but normally you can sit with one flower for literally an hour, and once you feel you got the best composition to highlight the flower in the most beautiful way, start all over and try it again. And that's kind of how it is. So you may think like, oh, this is the best composition, and there is no best, of course. If you're good with composition, period, you're gonna be able to take that to the air with no problem. It's just gonna take a little bit of time to see stuff visually the same way you do on the ground when you're in the air. And of course, that's just par for the course, and have fun with it, because flying drones, as we all know, is fun. That's why we got into it. And the composition side will get more familiar when you're up above everything. But again, same kind of things come into play. Look for the cooler stuff. But anyway, let's go ahead and fly the drone and see what we can create and talk about composition-wise while we're flying in the air. So, all right, guys. So now we're gonna get the drone in the air. It's way, way, way intense hot out. Everything is kind of shutting down. My iPhone 12 Pro Max overheating, shutting down, took the case off. I'm gonna fly the drone with the air conditioning on. So we're gonna get the drone in the air and talk about composition with what we all got into this for. Whoop, why is there a little scuffy on my drone? Okay. But we're gonna take Mini 2. I took off my little Scotty Make Stuff sticks just for ease and not having to mess around with something new. So we'll get this guy powered on, get it into the air. I looked at a couple shots that I took with this the other night in the city. I'll throw one up right now. I mean, this Mini 2 is pretty capable. If you shoot it in RAW and shoot at ISO 100, I mean, pretty darn good. That looks cool, right? Anyway, so we're gonna get this guy in the air. I'll do a screen recording, power this guy on. Yeah, it's super hot out. It's intense. It's like 105 out. So with super ton, huge, high, annoying humidity. So brightness is up. Don't have to worry about it dimming, hopefully. I'm gonna screen record this guy, get into Mr. Fly app, and we're gonna launch them and see what we can talk about compositionally with our drone in the air. So, it says take off with caution. I'm gonna... Okay, so we got this guy right here. We'll start it. Boom, hand over. Why does it do that? What's the reasoning for the crazy props? It kind of feels good, but I don't know what's causing it. So here. Okay. See ya, drone. Stay cool. So here we go. And this is a good day because, as you see, I have stuff going on. They're doing some kind of weird days. So we got over here, which is normally grass. We got all these ugly outhouses by the fountain. So this is a good practice and exercise and isolating beauty. So think about that. We're just going to talk about still shots. Of course, video essentially is just a bunch of still shots that are composed well, stitched together into a video clip. I'm going to go ahead and change, why is ISO 100, shutter, because it's fixed aperture, we got to go way more than 2.5 seconds. So this is, again, say we're technically a good photographer, we're going to read the histogram, make sure we're exposed well, make sure our white balance is looking good. Maybe a little bit warmer like that. Maybe even a bit more. There we go. So now our exposure is decent. It looks like our white balance is decent. Maybe warm it up a teeny bit more. Yeah, somewhere like that for now. So sky's looking nice. I can see the drone. And let's just kind of cruise around. So over here, we got our rule of third grid line, right? So we can see that. So we got this enabled, which is going to help out. We have, if we go into the 3 dots in the upper right-hand corner, we're going to tap that. We're going to go in the camera, and we're going to make sure the grid lines are on. So see all these? Check them all, because they will help out. Because this is going to help us with composing shots and just lining stuff up. And if you're flying, it's going to help with precision flying, because it just does. It's kind of like a target in the middle. So say over here, we're going to scan. We got a truck over here. Like this is all right, looking kind of good. Whoop, let me see. I'm going to get a little closer. Where are you, drone? Here we are. There's a bird flying around me. But instead of flying super high and getting all the stuff that's going on, like the dumpster and all the gates, let's just fly a little lower and just kind of use it in a way where my iPhone still dimmed, which is weird. I'm telling you, there seems like there's something with DJI and the Fly app just causing this to dim, which is weird. So say we want to just get a shot like that. Like that looks pretty. We can use the grid lines to make sure the walls are straight, and then we can get a shot. But again, this is the same thing. Right now, this little depot museum, this museum in my town, is kind of like the zinnia flower. Not really, but it's something that's a well-known figure in our town. I could sell prints of this if I wanted to, and it was a really good shot. This is obviously not anything epic, but say, for example, I get a cool shot like this, I could easily retouch this with the raw file, because I am capturing in JPEG plus RAW, and tweak it, and again, you know, sell it. So this is a good shot, and if we go ahead and go up in altitude, you can see all the stuff going on. We got a truck, we got barriers, we got all this kind of crap happening, but we're not focusing on that. We're focusing on the beauty. There's outhouses and stuff. So let's cruise over here. Where are you, little drone? It's nice because the roads are closed, so I don't have to worry about flying over any traffic. See this? Cruising. You can barely even see this Mini 2. It's so hard to see. But say I want to go ahead and now get just this fountain. There you are, little Mini 2. So now we can isolate the fountain. Whoop, I feel like I'm almost into a tree. Move the histogram down a little bit, and voila. I don't know where I am. I do, I mean, I could kind of see, but I'm actually, let me see, I'm going to drive up a little bit so I can see. I got the tripod on the dashboard. I want to visually see what's going on with this little drone. They got the barrier up so nobody is getting blocked, and I'm going to come down a little bit and cruise a little bit over the tree. And now look, now we got summer fountain, we got 2 landmarks in this area, and a nice clean shot with no debris. So we're going to pan the camera around, or yaw, and here we got beautiful outhouses. We don't want that shot. I'm going to back up a little bit. I'll raise up. So they're doing something, apparently some windmill day or blah blah blah, so Again, a lot of the stuff is kind of being worked on right now and not very attractive, but we can hone in on the beauty, and that's kind of what we need to do in life, right? You know, there's a lot of negativity out there, a lot of stuff on the media and on social media and Facebook and all kinds of crap that's being spewed at us. So focus on the beauty. That's really the moral of the story at the end of the day. And again, we can make a living focusing on the beauty and sharing the beauty of the world with others. So that's a pretty cool thing. So now look at this. We got a guy walking. Maybe we want him in the shot. Maybe he adds a little interest. Where are you, little drone? And we don't have him in the shot now. Kind of wish those garbage cans weren't there. But this is a good example. And maybe we want to go over here. So right now we have everything just kind of normal composition. We're not shooting straight down like we can. But let's go straight down over something like this fountain. You could already see shapes and stuff happening. So I'm going to point the camera straight down 90 degrees. And let's cruise over here and lower. I can watch the drone. I'm not going to get into it. Oh. Let's go over here a little bit. And again, what are we doing? We're isolating the beauty. So now if we're shooting video, we can do something like really slow and raise altitude. But if we're just taking a still picture, let's get a still picture. That's kind of cool. Maybe even go a little bit further. And you know, we can do something like that. Another good composition tip is to have something of interest in every corner of your frame. I was always kind of told that, it does really reign true. So if you have something that works visually, even if it's an empty space like a sky with beautiful clouds or something, but make sure that there's nothing that just doesn't look good in one of the areas of the frame. So let me see. Like we could even go up a little bit, and realistically, like that can work too. And we could always crop in a little bit, but just something showcasing the fountain like that. And now, of course, as drone pilots, we have the ability to shoot video. So now I'm going to put it in the cine mode. I'm going to hit record, and I'm going to go up slowly. And maybe I start rotating. And we can get, I mean, obviously we got outhouses and stuff today, but you know what I mean. Okay, say we do this. I'm going to use the 2x zoom. And we're going to go down and kind of get it really abstract. I can see the drone, and I'm still probably 15 feet above the fountain. Go right in the middle. We're going to utilize that crosshair to get us dead center in the little burbly burp. Look at that. It's kind of cool, huh? Maybe even a little bit there. Go up a little bit. Maybe even go down a little. But you can see, we can get really creative. Drone's safe. And now we just kind of go up. Maybe rotate a little bit. But even 1/1000, 2/1000, 3/1000. You know, we just need a few seconds of a clip in order to make something work. And I'm utilizing the little 2x zoom. And we can get something that will work, that won't get these outhouses, for example, the ugliness in the shot. So, you know, we can fly a little bit maybe and go forward a little bit. 1/1000, 2/1000, 3/1000, and then stop. So, again, there we go. We got outhouses and stuff. But I'm hoping this helps you guys. I don't know. I'm not going to get into it a ton today because it is really extremely hot. But I will fly one more time somewhere else that I think will be good to talk a little bit about composition. Now, when you're flying a drone, and especially when you're flying over water, you want to physically see how high you are above the water, so you kind of have an idea of where the drone is. I can't truly see right now because I'm in my car. So I'm gonna go ahead and cruise to this little gazebo. I'm gonna throw it on the sport mode and just hightail over there. Sport mode is great for quick A to B efficiency. No sensors on the Mini 2. Cruising. You always want to be conscious of water because sometimes you'll start to lower in altitude. I'm going to throw it back in the normal mode. Throw this back in the photo mode. Make sure I'm still recording. I am. It's kind of muddy over here. We got a lot of rain yesterday, but I'm trying to capture more of the reflections of the clouds and focusing on the gazebo. So again, we're isolating the beauty always. And maybe we want something like this off center a bit. You know, there's the whole rule of third thing, but at the same time, as I said, visually, I don't really pay attention to anything. I just make sure that it works, you know, visually. I mean, that essentially is what it is. So we got reflections happening here, which is nice. We got a nice sky, a simple scene, and that's kind of cool. Maybe we want to change the ratio. So I can go, where is that? I think it's in control. No, it's in camera. It's in advanced settings or something. Where are you? Oh, here, 16:9. So now we have even a little different scene. My iPhone is still dimming on me. I don't know if that will actually show in the screen recording. But say right now I'm cutting off the reflection over here a little bit. I probably would want to get that in its entirety. And do something like that. Maybe a little bit, take a couple shots. They're super small files. Try a little different angle. 4:3 is going to be more of a photo aspect ratio. And we're going to kind of cruise around a little bit over here. And maybe we'll turn the camera and see what we have this angle. That tree right there, I crashed into. So I'm hoping this helps. I mean, again, composition is something that you always have to practice and work on. I mean, again, Jay Mizell, who's a famous photographer out of New York, says do your visual push-ups every day, similar to a bodybuilder, and I really do feel that's true. So same thing, I mean, as a still photographer, and that's my career, and that has been my way of life for a long time, composition was always a big part of the game. And again, creatives like my tattoo artist friends and just all kinds of people that I looked up to, they always gave me little pointers, and you should take that into consideration because you don't necessarily need to think exactly like a traditional photographer. There's a lot of traditional photographers that just stick by the rules, and I think honestly have a lot of kind of lame stuff because they're just too by the book always. They never want to venture out and maybe tilt the horizon or tilt their camera or do something that's just a little bit different. So just do your own thing, rock out your own style. A lot of people with photography always struggle with finding their own style and look. And again, that's something that just kind of comes with time. I mean, whatever you kind of hone in on or whatever hones in on you will eventually be kind of your style. For me, it's kind of poppy, vivid, colorful, really sharp usually. So people have said like vivid, vibrant, tack sharp imagery, visuals, whatever it may be. So that's what I've had used to describe my photography for whatever it's worth. So, you know, some people think it's garbage, some people think it's great. It's all good, but you know what? At the end of the day, you have to be happy with your work, and that's what it's all about. So basically, I'm gonna land the drone, and I'm hoping this helps out, guys. Let me get my Mini 2 back to me. It's super hot out, as I said. I feel like drone X guy, landing my drone, being in the car. I watch his videos too. Whoa, where are you? So here we got the drone. Can you see it? No, you can't see it yet, can you? Whoa. It's not going to be exposed. Let me see, hold on a second. Oh. All right, I'm just gonna land it safely. Stick my hand out. And voila, Mini 2 safely back in the car. Very warm. Thank Mini 2 for enduring the heat for this video. But I'm hoping this helps, guys. Again, composition is a huge part of this drone game. A lot of people who have a background in photography like myself kind of have a little bit of an edge, only because we're more familiar with composition and knowing how to get the shot already, so we don't have to struggle with knowing how to expose or capture in the right format, capturing raw, all that kind of stuff. But again, I'm hoping this helps people that are a little bit newer to photography and drones and just the compositional game as a whole. If it helps out, hit the thumbs up button, subscribe, more videos to come, and aloha, stay cool, enjoy summer, peace, bye.